It was just a parking lot, carts rolling across the pavement, parents loading groceries into their trunks, teenagers laughing on their way inside. An ordinary Saturday evening. Nothing about it looked dangerous, but in the next few minutes, a young woman would vanish, completely. Her car would be found exactly where she left it. Groceries still inside, purse untouched, no struggle, no scream anyone remembered, just silence. Hours later, investigators would uncover one small digital clue, a signal. A single piece of data that would become the difference between life and death. But by then, Kelsey Smith was already gone. Kelsey Smith was 28. She lived in Kansas, the kind of person friends called warm, dependable, impossible not to like. She loved her family. She worked hard. She found joy in the small, ordinary moments most of us take for granted. Everyone who knew her remembered the same thing first, her smile. She wasn't someone who attracted chaos. She had plans, a future mapped out in the quiet, hopeful way young people plan their lives. Plans that stopped on an ordinary Saturday, June 2nd, 2007. Kelsey spent part of the day with her boyfriend. Nothing unusual, like 100 weekends before it. Later, she decided to make one quick stop before heading home. A routine errand, the kind she'd run dozens of times. She parked outside a Target store in Overland Park, Kansas. Security cameras caught her walking in, browsing the aisles, picking up a few items, paying, walking back out. Everything completely normal. She was steps from her car, and then she was gone. At first, no one knew anything was wrong. Her family expected a call that evening. When it never came, worry turned into panic, fast. Kelsey wasn't the type to just disappear. They reported her missing, and police went straight to the last place she was seen. The Target surveillance footage. Detectives watched it frame by frame. Kelsey leaving the store, exactly as expected. But something else was in that footage. A man standing near the parking lot, watching. At the time, it meant nothing to anyone. It wouldn't stay that way. Kelsey's car was still there, her purchases still inside. No broken glass, no phone left behind, no sign of a struggle. It looked as if she had simply vanished, somewhere between the store doors and the driver's seat. That stretch of pavement, maybe 30 feet, became one of the most important crime scenes in the entire investigation. And investigators had almost nothing to go on, except one thing: her phone. Every smartphone talks to nearby cell towers, constantly, even when it's not being used. Investigators knew this signal could lead them straight to Kelsey. But there was a problem. Getting real-time location data back then required legal approval, paperwork, time. Time they were terrified they didn't have. While officers pushed the process forward, nearby surveillance cameras revealed something chilling. A man had approached Kelsey right after she reached her car. The encounter lasted only seconds. Then both of them were gone. No one in that parking lot realized what they'd just witnessed. To them, it looked like nothing. That's the part that still unsettles people today. Sometimes the worst moment of someone's life happens in plain sight, and no one notices at all. Then, a breakthrough. Kelsey's phone records started coming through. Her signal wasn't at the target anymore. It was moving. Investigators tracked it, tower by tower. Every new ping narrowed the search. Every minute made the stakes higher. Because if Kelsey was still alive, the clock was running out. Surveillance footage picked up a vehicle matching the suspect's movements. The pieces were finally connecting. but they still didn't know exactly where she was. Then the phone stopped moving. Search teams rushed to the location the final signal had given them. What they found ended every remaining hope. Kelsey Smith's body was discovered in a wooded area. She had been murdered. For her family, a search that began with hope ended in grief no one should have to carry. Now the investigation had a new purpose: finding the man responsible. Attention turned to Edwin Hall. Investigators pulled surveillance footage from every nearby camera, cross-referenced vehicle movements, interviewed witnesses, collected forensic evidence. Piece by piece, the timeline came together. Hall was arrested. Investigators soon learned he had a history of violent offenses. Prosecutors argued something chilling, that Kelsey hadn't been targeted for any reason at all. She had simply been there. An ordinary trip to the store had put her in the path of a predator. Forensic testing continued. Every new result added another layer to the case, and in court, every claim had to be proven. The trial forced Kelsey's family to relive the worst days of their lives. In front of a courtroom, prosecutors laid it all out: surveillance footage, cell tower data, witness accounts, forensic evidence. Together, it built a timeline from a Target parking lot to the woods where Kelsey was found. The defense pushed back, as any defense will. But after weighing everything, the jury reached its verdict: guilty. Edwin Hall was sentenced to life in prison, without parole. Justice, finally. But justice that could never undo what had already been taken. Kelsey's death changed more than one family. Her case exposed a serious problem: how difficult it could be for police to get real-time phone location data in a true emergency. Her parents refused to let that problem stay hidden. They became advocates. Their fight helped inspire what's now known as Kelsey's Law, legislation designed to get investigators faster access to location data when someone's life is on the line. For families since, that change has meant something enormous: the difference between arriving too late and arriving in time. People still remember Kelsey's name, not because of how her life ended, but because of who she was before that day. A daughter, a girlfriend, a friend. Someone whose ordinary Saturday should have ended safely at home. Her story is a reminder that danger doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it's standing in a crowded parking lot, hidden in plain sight. And sometimes, the smallest piece of technology, one single signal, becomes the thing that finally tells the truth. If this story moved you, stay with us. There are more stories like Kelsey's, carefully researched, respectfully told, because behind every headline, there's a life worth remembering. Subscribe for more.